Yes. All right. So welcome everyone to our section for today. Welcome to the masterclass for today, right? So before we go right into today, right, every before and I would like to get to know everyone I have on the call with me today. So if we don't, here's how we're going to do it. I would like us to put where we are joining in from, and then our names, and then where we are joining in from, so that we'll get to know you and then where we are joining from today. So if you can put it in the to know everyone I have on the call with me today. So I'm looking at the chat now. All right. So who wants to go first? Who wants to break the ice? I'm looking at the chat now. All right, so we have Oyin Damola from Nigeria. Nice to meet you, Oyin. We have Pelumi from Nigeria. Nice to meet you, Pelumi. Nice to have you on the call also today. Right, so more people, more people. I want to see more people putting it in there. Let's get to know ourselves, our names, and then where we're joining in from today. We have more people on the call. Okay, we have Babatunde. We have Babatunde from Nigeria. Nice to have you, Babatunde. We have Lara from the UK. Nice to have you on the call, Lara. Who else? All right. So while we wait for other people to basically put in their names and where they are joining from. All right. So we also have Fred from Uganda. Nice to meet you, Fred. All right. Now let's get right into what we have for today while we wait for others to basically put in their names. So for today, we are going to be looking at choosing your best tech pivot in 2026. Choosing your best tech pivot in 2026. And we're going to be focusing on three major core career paths, which is what the data analytics, the business analysis, and then project management. Right. So stick with me until the end. So we also have Peter also on the call. I think this is the UK flag. Nice to meet you, Peter. All right. So before we get right into it, if today is your first time joining, I want you to put a one in the chat. And if you've joined any of our master's classes before, you can put in any number of your choice. You can put two, three, but if today is your first time joining any of our master classes, just put in a one in the chat so that we'll know my target audience for today. If today is the first time. All right, so Fred is a five. That's an OG already. So we have Dako, a one. Nice to meet you. Babatunde, a one. Nice to have you on the call. We have Belumi, a two. Nice to have you. We have Peters, three. All right. Simply have some OGs here. So more hands, more hands. Let's see more. We have Olajumoke, a seven. All right. Okay, more. I think we have more than these people on the call. So let's put in the numbers. Let's see. All right. So we have video. That's the first time. Nice to have you on the call and welcome to our masterclass. So if you know anyone basically that will benefit from this course or this section, feel free to reach out to them, your friends, your family relative, and so on. Reach out to them, tell them to join the section and come and gain a bit of knowledge, right? So now, for those that are just joining and would like to listen to the recording of this section and also get the material that is being used, simply fill the attendance form that my colleagues are going to be dropping in the chat here. Simply fill that in and they will personally reach out to you and send everything to you. So simply fill that in. Now, let's get right into what we have for today. So Right, so I'll put it in a slideshow. Okay, now, as I've said before, what we'll be looking at today is okay, so it's taking a time to load, so let's give it a minute, please. All right, as I've said before, we'll be looking at choosing your best pivot in 2026. And before we get right into what we have for today, I'd like to tell us who we are. Who are we bringing this section to you today, right? We are Tenalytics, an edutech company that is focused on providing you with specialized training in technology skill and delivering comprehensive data consulting service. And we are not new to this. We've been doing this for several years, over 5 years now. And we've been doing this building talent, and we've helped over 3,500 people transition from their 9 to 5 job to landing their first role across the UK, the US, the Canada, Europe, Asia, and so on, right? So we are not new to this, right? And we have several sectors that we work in and our programs running, right? Which includes the data analytics, the business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management and Scrum Master, cybersecurity, DevOps engineering, and finally, product design. So see, we have a lot of course for you, right? And one key thing I also want to point out to you is that we have instructors from leading global companies like the Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and so on. So we are not just bringing anyhow people to come to the class to teach you, right? We are bringing experienced people, people with the knowledge. They bring their wealth of real world experience, and they provide learning, practical learning experience to ensure that you get value for what what we are in for at the end of the day. So now, the next thing is, who is me speaking to you, right? I'm Moses Joshua. This is me, Moses Joshua, a senior agile associate here at Analytics with several years of experience in project management. And I'm passionate for organizing teams and delivering impactful projects. So this is about me, and you'll be hearing more of me. So don't let me dwell more on this. Let's go right into the next person. And here is my colleague also. She's going to be speaking to us real soon today, right? And who is she? She's Elizabeth Nana. She is a product manager, a senior agile project manager, and a clarity coach at Tenalytics with half a decade of experience in product and project management. So she's good at what she does. She has the experience, right? Elizabeth is a skilled leader and coach for agile teams, consistently driving impactful results, right? And as a clarity coach, she has helped several people that wants to break into tech. She has helped them gain direction, confidence, and actionable steps to transition into rewarding tech careers. Elizabeth has trained over 1,000 professionals across 4 continents, and she has experience that spans from different sectors that includes the health tech, fintech, edtech, and so on. So she has deep knowledge in what she does. Now let's get into what we have for today, right? So for today, we're going to be looking at what are the things we are going to be looking. The first thing is what? First thing we're going to be doing today is what? Looking at why do we need to pivot? Why pivot to tech in 2026? Why do we need to pivot to tech in 2026? Right? The next one is what? How to choose your best tech pivots. How to choose. Then after that, we'll move into Tenalytics strategic plan to help you secure a job. Because at the end of the day, we all want a job. We all want a good, high-paying job at the end of the day. And this is the reason why we are pursuing a better career. We're trying to learn new things every day because we want to secure good jobs at the end of the day. And finally, we'll talk about our special discount offer that we're going to be having for you guys today. So stick with me until the end of this section. And don't forget to fill the feedback forms that my colleagues are going to be dropping in the chat so that you can be able to get the materials for this section and also the recording for this section. Now, let's get right into it. Why 2016 is a pivotal year for tech career? Why 2026 is a pivotal year for tech careers. What do I mean by this? What I'm simply saying is what? But before we go into the explanation, what is the meaning of the word pivotal? Pivot that I keep talking about. It simply means when you shift focus or you try to move into another space different from the one you are in, right? So, and don't forget, at the end of the day, all of them is connect with your original goal, which is what? To better your future. So why 2026 is a pivotal year for tech career? It simply means, why is 2026 your turning point? Now let's get right into it. The first thing is what? Evolving landscape. Evolving landscape. Right? We all know that the world is evolving now, right? If you look back, probably 10 years ago, 10 years, 20 years ago or so, right? Mostly everyone works in the office. If you tell someone probably 20 years ago that, oh, I work remotely or I work hybrid, they will not take you serious. But as the world keep evolving, we see changes. We started with people start doing hybrid, few days at work, few days at home. And then we moved to remote. And then AI is coming in. Now we have automations. So the landscape is evolving. So the earlier you move into the space, the better. So AI, automation, and the shift to hybrid work models are fundamentally reshaping job roles and the demand for specific skill across the tech industry. So what this is simply saying is the world is evolving, right? And then it is reshaping the job roles we have available. And you should also know that the demand for specific skills are in high demands now. And how do I know that it's in high demand? Which takes me to my next point, the job market dynamic. So according to the World Economic Forum, right, 750 new jobs are going to be available by 2030. We are going to have 170 million new jobs globally by 2030. 170 million is like a huge number globally that's going to be created. New jobs that are going to be coming, surfacing because of landscape is evolving, everything is evolving. But as these new jobs are coming in place, some jobs are also going to be displaced. And we have over 92 million jobs that are going to be displaced. Meaning that automations are going to be taking in some jobs, AIs are going to be taking in some jobs. So the earlier you start upscaling, the better. Now, how do you position yourself strategically? How do you position? We've known that, oh, the landscape is evolving. We've known that some jobs are coming in and some jobs are being displaced. But how do we position ourselves strategically? How do we do that? We simply choose the right career shift now, which is what the key to staying relevant. You need to pick the right path now, right? And then unlocking your future opportunity. So the earlier you take that step to break into the tech space, the better. Now let's go into looking at the three major parts we're going to be talking about. The three major career paths we're going to be. First one is what? The data analytics, and then we have the business analysis, and then the project management. So if we hear the word business analytics, what do we think they do? What does a business analytics do? What does a data analytics do? What does a business analysis analyst, what do they do? And then what does a project manager do? What is the meaning of this word? Who can help us out in the chat? So anyone in the chat? I'm looking at the chat now. When you hear the word data analytics, what does it mean to you? Or business analysis, what does it mean? And then project management, what does it mean? Before I go on, I would like to just see probably 30 seconds. Let's see opinions from everyone. The floor is open. I'm looking at the chat now. So what do we mean? Who wants to give it a go? All right. While we wait, so I'll wait for 10 more seconds. Let's see if we have some ideas from everyone on the call. Okay, so we have from Christina. She said a data analytics is what? The situation of anything in business. The situation of anything in the business. All right. Okay. Okay. So, for Babatunde, he said business analyst is responsible for requirements gathering and ethical decision making using data. Thank you very much. We have Christina said, I'm very new and hope I'm not wrong. Okay, Christina, don't worry. You are in the right place basically. So be rest assured, you are gonna gain a lot from this section today. So be rest assured. So we have Peter said, data analytics is the process where you analyze data, solve data, and then process data through you process data through collecting data from primary source to secondary source. Thank you very much, Peter. That's very detailed. All right, let's go on. You're welcome, Cynthia. Now let's go on into it. The first we have is what? Data analytics. What does it simply say? According to what Peter said, it simply means collecting. I broke it down into like the simplest form of understanding, right? So I'm taking it one step at a time. So data analytics is the process of collecting data, organizing, and interpreting data to uncover useful insights, make predictions, and support decision making. Now, what do I mean by this? I'll give a scenario. Imagine you work for an organization, let's say a hospital, right? You work in a hospital and they have lots of data. You know, in the hospital, they have patients file. Everyone have their own file. They have male, female, they have children, they have elderly ones, and so on, right? We have lots of people and they have different categories, different things wrong with them. And this data is too much. They want it in such a way that when they open their laptop, they just type something, they are able to see the visualized data, something that they can be able to interpret. So now this is what the data analyst, they bring in the data analytics and it comes in, he gathers all the information, all the data. After that, he organizes them and then he interprets. You know, it is very difficult when you start going through spreadsheets. Imagine having thousands of rows and like columns, and you have to be going through each and every one of them because of you are looking for one person's name and so on. But when the data analytics help you with this, they help you process that data and then they interpret the data for you so that you can be able to see everything you need to see. Children do we have? You'll be able to see all those details by just a click of a button. The data would have been compressed, it would have been interpreted for you. And with that data, you'll be able to make informed decisions okay, oh, these are the things we need to do to make this part better, right? That is what a data analytics do. And don't forget, it is not just in the health sector they work in. Data goes through every sector. Now, the next one is what? The business analysis. The business analysis. With the word the business, we all know that, oh, it simply focuses on what business. So what are we talking about when we talk about the business analysis? It's simply what? The practice of identifying business need and finding effective solution to solve that organization, to help that organization achieve their. So it simply, let me break it down in such a way we understand. It simply means, oh, you want to go into a business, right? And you need to first of all identify, what does this business need to upskill? What are the things we need to do to keep ourselves better than our competitors? Every business wants to be at the top, right? What are the needs? What are we trying to solve, right? So you get those needs and then you provide effective solution. And how do you do this? You go around, you check the market, or you check the market trends. Oh, what is the saying for this business that we're about to enter? Is it the right time to enter? It's more like saying, oh, you are a farmer. What is the right time to plant a particular crop? You do all your analysis and then you provide a solution. Okay, well, the best time to start this business is probably towards this time. These are the things we need to put in place in this business. These are the features that we've seen that, oh, people like to see in this business based on your based on the research that the business analysis has done. So that is what the business analyst does. He identifies the needs and then provide the solution so that the organization will be able to achieve their goal at the end of the day. Now, the project manager, lastly. What does a project manager do? A project manager is the project management is the structured process of what? Planning, organizing, and overseeing tasks and resources so that you'll be able to what? Achieve your goal within a defined time frame and budget. It's as easy as that. Now, this one simply focuses on project management. A project manager focuses inside the business. How do we make sure this business is being completed to finish the business? How do we make sure that this project is completed on time and within budget? So you are going to be taking care of the planning, everybody that is needed. You are going to organize them. You are going to monitor them. Each task, oh, you have this task to work on. This is the amount of time you need to work on this task. This is the budget for this task. And then you make sure you monitor them, monitor the resources so that you finish the project on time and within schedule. Now, let's go into each of them bit by bit. We'll start with what? The data analytics. Data analytics professionals are in high demand, transforming raw data into actionable insights that drive strategic decisions. Right? So this is precisely what they do. They are basically in high demand. And according to the World Economic Forum, and I'll still explain that further as we go on. We'll still talk more on the Economic World Forum. So now, what is the job outlook? Job outlook. Openings for data professionals are projected to grow an impressive 36% from 2023 to 2033. So this data analytics is not a skill, it's not a niche that is going to be going down soon, right? And according to what I said before, there are some jobs that are going to be displaced before 2030. And with what we are seeing, this one, the demand is still going to be increasing. So this simply indicates that there's a robust career opportunity in this section. And in the other section, I'm also going to be talking about today, which includes the business analysis and the project management. The next thing to look at is what the key skills that are going to be needed as a data analyst. What are the key skills? The first one is what you have to be proficient in what SQL. And don't worry, most of these things, I'm just giving you a snippet, right? All these things are covered in our programs. You get a full breakdown of everything that I'm talking of today. So all you need to do is what? Fill in that feedback that my colleague is going to be dropping in the chat, and then you'll be getting all the necessary information that is needed for you. Now, we said SQL, Python, statistical programming is also important. So Python is also a language that is used in data analytics, right? Next is what? Data visualization tool, which includes what? Power BI and Tableau, which are very essential. You know, one thing I talked about at the beginning was when it comes to data analytics, I told you that they get the data, they clean it, and then they visualize the data so that we'll be able to know without going through all those spreadsheets, without going through all those documents, we'll be able to see it visually what everything is talking about. And the tools that are mostly used for this is what? The Power BI and Tableau. Now let's look at the industry reach. Data analytics is critical in finance, healthcare, retail, manufacturing. So they can work in diverse industries. So they are not just restricted to say, oh, you are learning data analytics, you have to focus on this industry. Nah, not at all. You are open to work in diverse industry. And this is just a little one that was mentioned here. We have several other industries that anything that requires any industry that they are requiring data, they are getting data, marketing, operations, as long as they are getting data, a data analyst is required there. Now, what is the potential earnings? I know you must be wondering, oh, is there even, since it's in high demand, what is the amount? So now this is the average amount I'll put here for these three countries, which includes the UK, the US, and then the Canada. For the UK, the average salary for a data analyst is what? 35,000 to 47,000 pounds in the UK. While in the US, the average salary is what? 65,000 to $72,000. And finally, for Canada, we have an average salary of what? 55,000 to 64,000 Canadian dollars. So you see that there is a high income earnings when it comes to this, meaning that it is very important. It's in high demand. And as time goes on, and as the demand keep increasing, the earnings also continue to increase. Now let's move to the next one, which is what? The business analysis. The business analysis. The first thing we'll focus on is what? Strategic alignment. Business analysts translate complex business needs into what? Clear technological solution, according to what I've been saying earlier. They translate it. Whatever the business needs, they translate it, they break it down. And don't forget, they are the ones going to gather all this information that are going to be needed. After getting it, they break it down to technological solutions and process improvement to ensure that the tech initiative align with the organizational goal. So they break this solution so that the team working on this will be able to know, okay, well, this is the goal of the project. This is the scope of this project. So to make it easier for people. Now, what is the core competence? When we say core competence, simply means more like the core skills needed for this. One of them is what? Expert in what? Gathering requirements, which is what? Requirements gathering. Experts in requirements gathering. You must be good. I've been saying before, they get the business need. Oh, what does the business need? They'll go and be doing survey, the strength of the business. They'll check the competitors. Oh, what are our competitors doing? What do we need to do to make better, to be better than them at the end of the day? What are the steps we need to take? What are the features we need to add to our own platform to make us much more better? They gather all these requirements. Another key skill you should have is what? Effective stakeholder communication. You must be able to communicate with the stakeholder, because if you are providing solution for them, both the internal and the external stakeholders, you must be able to communicate with them. Communication is also a key factor, a key skill for a business analyst. And next is what? Robust process modeling. Robust process modeling. Now you've gotten all the requirements. How do you model it? How do they see it? How do you show it to the stakeholders? And finally, practical application of Agile Scrum methodology. This is also a key competence, a key skill for a business analyst. Now, what are some of the common tools used as a business analyst? Some of the common tools include Visio or Lucid Charts. This is basically used for creating workflows, designing frameworks. And that tool that is important for business analysts is what? Jira. And they also use the UML modeling tool, the JAMA software, Azure, Excel, Power BI, Tableau. We have so many other tools that are being used. So many others. And don't worry, most of these tools are what we are going to also be teaching you in the program. Now, what is the earning for a business analyst? What is the earning? If you go through the career path of a business analysis, what is the potential earning? Now, the average salary based on those three major locations is what? For the UK, we have 35 to 65,000 pounds. For the US, we have 70,000 to $120,000. And then for Canada, we have 70,000 to 110,000 Canadian dollars. So you see the market has potential earnings. And don't forget, as I've said before, it's still growing. The demands are still increasing. Lots of people are building businesses. The next part is what? The project management. The project management. Right. The first one, we'll look at the critical role. What is the critical role? They are more like, I call them the orchestrator, right? All they do is they direct, making sure that everything goes as planned. If they say the project is going to be done in 6 months and the budget is this amount, they make sure that the project finishes during that time. They do everything possible, making sure that every task is being done properly. So no matter the complexity of the project, if the time frame has been fixed and it has been agreed upon that, okay, the team is going to be able to finish this project with this duration and with this budget, then you work on the project. You make sure that the project is completed within that time frame. Now, what are some of the key skill a project manager should have? Key skill for project management. It includes what? Mastery of Agile and Scrum. So both the business analyst and the project manager uses the Agile and Scrum methodology. Another key skill includes risk management. Risk management. Especially when you're working on complex projects, there's always possibility of risk management, of risk happening, right? Possibility of risk happening. You are working on project, there's simply one of the team members say, oh, I'm not feeling well, or someone just decides to stop working or resigns. That's a risk that should be planned for. So you be able to create a mitigation plan for each of the risks. And that's a key skill you must have as a project manager. And next is what strong leadership. As I've said before, a project manager or in project management, they are more like orchestrators. So they must have a strong leadership skill, making sure that they lead the team properly to ensure that the project finish on time and within schedule and budget. Next skill they should have is collaborative skill. You know you're going to be working in with different um aspects of the project, the marketing, the design, the development team. So you should be able to, and the stakeholders, you should be able to communicate with each of them, collaborate with them. Oh, marketing, you work with the development and so on. Design, you work with the development. So they must be able to collaborate. You must be able to have collaborative skill for both remote and hybrid teams. And now that the world is evolving, we have most tech roles are remote roles and hybrid roles. And you should be able to communicate or collaborate, help people in this niche because of it is harder when you're not seeing people to talk to every day. They're not coming to work every day or they are mostly remote. It's harder to get a time that works with them, works for them. So you should be able to get the collaborative skill, and that's why it is a key skill in project management. Now, this is just the tip, as I've said before. Right. And now we move to the common tools. What are some of the common tools used in project management? They include Microsoft Projects, Asana, Trello, Jira, Confluence, ClickUp, and so on. There are so many others dependent on the project or the company you are working for and what they are using for their organization. Now, also, let's look at the earnings. What is the earning potential for project management? Now, for the UK, we have an earning of 45 to 75,000 pounds. For the US, we have 85 to $140,000. And for Canada, we have about 80,000 to 130,000 Canadian dollars. So these skills is also in high demand. For it to have this amount, lots of people are demanding for them. So now let's move to some of the unique strengths. What are the unique strengths in these three major areas that we've been talking about since? What are their unique strengths? Now, the unique strength for a data analytics is what? Deep technical and analytical expertise. Deep technical and analytical experts. They must be able to understand the data. They must be able to understand, okay, what do we need to do to get this result at the end of the day? To be able to create a visual board that is easy to understand. So you must have that. So you must have that skill or that strength. And that strength that is also important is what? Proficiency in coding and statistical modeling. Can you guys still hear me? Please give a thumbs up if you can hear me. Please give a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly. All right. All right. That's good. Sorry about that. Think because so now, as I was saying before, we have what? Deep technical and analytical expertise as a if you want to move into this niche, this is the strength. You must have this unique strength. Deep technical and analytical expertise. The next strength is what? Proficiency in coding and statistical modeling. You know, we talked about you're going to be doing SQL and Python language, including R language. All of them are coding. So if you know you have the strength for coding, you should be looking towards this part. And then you must have the act of data storytelling. I love that part. Act of data storytelling. You must be able to look at that data and say, how would I visualize this data, this long chunk of spreadsheet? How do I visualize it to make it appealing so that when people see it, they'll be able to um, all right. I don't know what is happening. Let's go right into it. I was talking about some of the core skill needed, core strength for each of this part. And I talked about data analytics having the act of data storytelling, which is very, very important. You must be able to visualize the data for people to see, understand. The next is what? Data analysis. What are some of the unique strengths of data analysis, business analysis? What are some of the unique strengths? First one is what? Strong communication and interpersonal relationship. You know, you'll be talking to lots of people as a business analyst, right? You'll be reaching out to people, getting information here and there. So you must be able to communicate with different stakeholders, both internal and external stakeholders. Next is what? Keen business acumen and strategic insights. What this is simply saying is the ability to make accurate decisions. Ability to make accurate decisions because the business is dependent on your information you are bringing in. Uh-uh. Sorry, I don't know why I'm just getting thrown off the call. Right, sorry about that, please. All right, so it doesn't happen again. All right, so now let's move on to what we're talking about. Is in process optimization. Expertise in process optimization. You must be able to optimize the process that is involved in the business. Optimize it, let it be usable, right? The information you got from the outside, the information you're able to gather, how do you optimize it to make the business successful at the end of the day? And then Lastly, what are the unique strengths or in project management? One of them include exceptional leadership and coordination ability. You must be able to coordinate. Next is what? Proactive risk mitigation and problem solving. We talked about it before that one of the key skill of project management is what? Risk management. So you must be able to create mitigation plans for risk that might occur in the business. And you must have problem solving skills. And finally, since you're going to be working with so many teams, you must be able to motivate your teams. Team motivation and stakeholder engagement. As a project manager, you are a leader, and all you need to do is make sure that everyone finishes their project on time and within budget. So you have to be able to motivate them. Oh, this is how it's going. Okay, oh, keep going and all that. Make sure that everyone, all your team members, are in the right space of mind. What is happening to you? What is happening to you? How is it going? So that is basically it. So these are some of the unique strengths. Now, these three roles, the three roles demand adaptability, continuous learning, and emotional intelligence to strive in 2026 dynamics hybrid work environments. What this is simply saying is, even this project, even these three major niches that we are talking about, is still evolving. It's still evolving. Lots of things are coming in place. AIs, automations, and so on are coming in place. So the earlier you get into it, the better for you. Right? So now let's move to the part I want to talk about the most, which is what? How to choose your best pivot in 2026. How would you know, oh, this is the path I want to go to in 2026? How do you know? The first thing is what? I want all of us to also do this for ourselves, right? The first thing you want to do is what? Assess your strength. So based on these three major niches I've talked about, the data analytics, the business analysis, and then the project management, which part is your strength? Assess your strength, look within yourself, evaluate whether you have an analytical mindset, a strong communication skill, or a knack for process optimization or natural leadership and coordination ability. First, you do that. After that, you follow your passion. Now, this is what I can do. Okay, we have someone already saying in the chat, Babalola said, project management / business analyst. That's great. That's great. Now, the next thing you want to do is what? Follow your passion. If you consider you are drawn to coding or data manipulation, if you are drawn to strategic business problem solving or leading team or managing project execution, you must be able to follow your passion. So look within yourself, what part are you drawn to? Is it coding? Do you like solving business problems? Do you like leading teams or managing projects? So we have people here already saying, let me read this one. So he said, what happens? Okay, I'll go through. What happens when your unique strengths overlap? For example, when you possess both business analysis and project management, right? So when you possess the both skill, when you possess the you feel that, oh, you have both skills, right? As a business analyst, as a project management, you can decide to go for any of them. It's your choice. Anyone that works for you. So as a business, but I'll still talk more on the courses as we go on. So just stick with me, Linda. So stick with me until then. But still, you are free to go for any of them. If your strength lies if you are good at any of them, you are free to go for them. So I will still talk more on that, where I'll talk about what a business analyst entails, what a data analyst entail, and then what a project management also entails. Now, the next one is what? After you've followed your passion, the next thing you look at is the market demand. What is the market demand? Research current market demand and salary trend in your specific region and the industry that piqued your interest. So every region have their own market demand and they have their own salary trend. So feel free to do your research. And then finally, plan your learning, which is why we are also here to help you with this part. Plan your learning. Outline a clear learning path that involves relevant certifications, technical courses like SQL, Python, and what essential soft skill development. Now, this is more like how to choose your best pivot in 2026. Now, before we go on, the next part we'll talk about is what? Your next step. What is your next step? What is your next step? Prove what is your next step. The first thing is what? Master foundational skill. It's important for people breaking into tech. I know it might be overwhelming. Oh, there's a lot of things to learn. But first thing first, the foundational skill is important, which is why we're also here at Analytics to help you with this groundbreaking step.
Hi everyone. Good day. So I see my colleague Moses just got cut off. I will just, continue from where he stopped if you would have me. All right. Oh, hi Moses. I see you're back now.
I'm
We
back
can't
now.
hear
Sorry.
you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mine was just throwing me off. So, let's get right into it again. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. It just keeps throwing me off. All right, let me just quickly do this. Your next step. I was basically talking about your next step. What do you need to do next? And first, we talk about master your foundational skill. Master your foundational skill. After doing that, you what? You build a strong portfolio. You build a strong portfolio, which is also what we are also going to be helping you here at Analytics. Showcase your ability through real world projects, dashboard, process map, and comprehensive project plans. So first is what? Master foundational skill. Next, build strong portfolio. After that, network strategically. This is where we will now leverage the LinkedIn platform. Join industry group, seek out mentorship opportunity, and expand your connection. Right? After getting this skill, we're in a world whereby you need to connect with people. You need to be able to connect. That's why we have the platform, the LinkedIn. It's majorly focused on a business, right? You can do other stuff on other social media, but when it comes to LinkedIn, you know that this is a professional platform. And that is why I use that also, which is why it's important to also leverage that. You see lots of industries, lots of groups to join, lots of industries to follow. And after that, embrace continuous learning. It's very important. As individuals, as humans, we must embrace continuous learning. The same knowledge you have in the last 10 years, you can't continue using that same knowledge now. You have to always learn new things. So stay current with the new AI tools, hybrid collaboration, best practices, and emerging business intelligence trend. And finally, remember the best pivot harmonizes your unique skill, genuine passion, and prevailing market opportunity for a successful 2026 and beyond. So it's high time. This is like the step. So look within yourself. What speaks to you? That's the first thing we talked about. And then start with this, your next step, which will take us to how do I get started? How do I get started? How do I select the right career path? Elizabeth, would you I'll hand over to my colleague here, Elizabeth, to take over.
All right, fantastic. Hi, Moses. Please confirm
All
that you
right.
can
Well,
hear me.
yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful session. You can stop sharing your screen now. So hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Nana. I will be taking you through the entirety of the session or the remaining part of the session. Before I start sharing my screen, Moses, your screen is still up.
Oh,
Before I
sorry
start
about
sharing
that.
my screen, I see a couple of questions in the chat box. If you are a healthcare professional interested in data analytics or data science, but you still want to practice your profession, how possible is it to maximize both professions? Pina Colada, I will answer you shortly. Evangeline says, hello, can we please get today's session recording? So please make sure to fill the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the chats. Just make sure to fill that form because that's the only way we can have access to your details, to your email, to be able to send the details to you, send the recording as well as the slides that we're going to be using for this session with you, Evangeline. Moses, your slide is still up.
Sorry about that.
All right. So while yeah, sorts that out, I want to also hear from people here. So if you're an absolute beginner in tech, I want you to put a one in the chat. If you're an absolute beginner, you know nothing, next to nothing about tech, you're just looking to break in, I want you to put a one. But if you have some knowledge, at least, I want you to put a two. Maybe you're currently undergoing training, you're currently registered for any of our programs, you can put a three in the chat if you're registered for any of our programs. All right. I want to know the demography of people that we have on the call today. So I'm just going to be sharing my screen now. So I can see the answers coming in already. Let me share my screen. Just give me a minute. Put this on slideshow. Fantastic. How do we get started? Okay, I'm very sure Moses has taken you on a very wonderful ride. Okay, because I saw a couple of questions in the chat as well. But now this is the question that is on everybody's mind, at least for the beginners, right? And the people who are not registered here yet. How do I get started? So the very first thing you want to do is you want to identify and select the right career path. Today, we have spoken about three different career paths. You have agile project management, you have business analysis, and you also have data analytics. So, how do you actually even know which of these three career paths, suits you? How do you know the one that you're going to get into, the one that would, align most with your current career goals, whether short term or long term? I will be walking you through that in a bit. But the first thing, like I said, that you want to do, select the right career path. Now, let's talk about sustainability. A lot of us on here, regardless of the career path, maybe we don't even know where we want to, get into right now, which is okay, because that's why we're here today, right? But a lot of us are also concerned. There's the buzz around AI currently going on. A lot of people are scared. Like, how do I know AI is not coming to take over my job, right? How do I know that if I get into data analytics right now, or if I get into project management right now, agile project management, or if I get into business analysis, how do I know that in the next 2 years? Because matter of fact, I spoke to someone, a few minutes ago, and that person asked me this question. How do I know that in the next 2 years my job is still safe? Now, here at Analytics, at the very heart of what we do, what we are really, very concerned about, what we care about is sustainability. All right. Sustainability in the sense that you don't have to worry about the programs that we offer. You don't have to worry about them going out of style. Okay. I'm going to say the exact same thing I said to this individual a few minutes ago, right? If we're looking at 2 years, 5 years, you have nothing to worry about. Now, if you ask me, Elizabeth, what are the career paths that would stay in high demand, in the next 2 years? How am I sure that my job is secure in the next 2 years? My answer to you is going to be you have nothing to worry about, even in the next 10 years. Now we can revisit that conversation. You can come back to me in the next 15 years and ask me that question. Maybe the answer would have changed. But right now, you have nothing to worry about. Now, we took a look at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report for 2025. I talk about this report a lot. People that have been in my sessions, it must be very familiar. Now, for the people that are new on here, the Future of Jobs report is a report that is available to anybody on the web. Now, I also want to preface this by saying that 10 Analytics absolutely does not have any affiliations whatsoever with the World Economic Forum. Okay, so you can open your browser right now, just put in World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report for 2025 going into 2026, and you see the report that I'm showing on my screen right now. Now, if you don't want to be bothered with that hassle, I also have the report linked on my slide. So please make sure to fill the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat so you can have access to this slide, and you can also access all the wonderful resources that we have linked on the slides. Now, when we took a look at the World Economic Forum, they said something very interesting, which you can see on my screen right now. It says in the next 5 years, at least in the next 5 years, at the very minimum, by 2030, about 170 million jobs will be created, right? While 92 million jobs will disappear. Now, that's a lot. Okay. And you can see a snapshot on my screen right now, just showing you see some boxes, some are in red, some are in blue, and some are in green. Now, the red boxes signify the jobs that are going to be destroyed. Right. And the blue boxes signify the jobs that are stable. The green boxes signify the jobs that will be created. Okay. So whatever it is that you're doing in this life, you just want to make sure you are not caught in the red zone. You want to, move. And the best bet is even moving into the green zone, right? Because at least you know that for the next 15 years, you are set. But if you can make it to the blue zone, that is also wonderful as well. Now, what are the in-demand career paths, right? I also went the extra mile to take snapshots of this report so I can show you. Of course, remember, I have it linked on my slides. So once you get access to the slides, once get the slides, you can actually access all these reports and all these links on my slides. Okay. So we can see the business intelligence analysts. These are data analysts, by the way. We can see them highlighted. You can see the agile project managers highlighted. You can see the business analysts highlighted as well. Now, these are jobs that have been purported to grow in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, they already exist right now, but they will keep growing, especially in demand in the next 5 to 10 years. So this is the end of 2025. If you're looking to break into tech 2026, this is a place you need to be. Okay, these are the career paths or some of the career paths that you should be looking at. And I also want to talk about the skill gap that we have all around the world right now, because another thing that people are always scared of is, oh, I think tech is saturated. Now, we carried out an analysis. This is me, just moving away from what we're speaking about today. But we carried out an analysis, and we have also been able to, find out that all around the world, right? Whether it's in Kenya, whether it's in Egypt, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in the UK or the US, organizations are actually looking for skilled individuals, right, that can take on these roles. Organizations are looking for business analysts. Organizations are looking for project managers. Organizations are looking for data analysts. Because the truth is, there are a lot of data analysts out there. I mean, anybody can wake up and say, you know what, I'm a data analyst, and who is going to check me, right? But then when it comes to the job market, how do you actually land a job, right? What sets you apart? We'll talk about that, in coming slides. But, the World Economic Forum has just highlighted for us the in-demand career paths. And you can see clearly data analytics, business analysis, and agile project management. So if you had those questions, in the back of your mind, I already answered them. Now let's move on. We'll start off with the agile project management program. For some of us on here, I saw someone mentioned earlier, Babatunde Kazim, is interested in project management / business analysis. Some people still don't know which of these two, they want to get into, especially because of the overlaps that we have in both roles. So what I'm going to be doing for the next few minutes, I'm going to be explaining in detail what each career path or what each program entails. So it helps you to better make up your mind, and make a decision. Now, if you're looking at the Agile Project Management Program, if you're someone who is interested in project management, what that means is that you are someone who is very comfortable with communication. All right. You're someone who is very comfortable leading teams. You're someone who is very comfortable at the forefront. You are sort of like an extrovert. All right. You don't mind jumping into meetings, following up with different stakeholders, liaising with stakeholders, the people on your team, your project members, trying to follow up on different tasks. Now, if what I just described or what I just said describes you in any way, right? If you're someone like that, then the project management program just might be the right fit for you. Now, who is a project manager? Like myself and like my colleague that went before me, Moses Joshua, we are facilitators. Project managers are facilitators. You're coaches, for a team that works on projects. Now, as a project manager, you always have a project team. All right. So this is one of the no code areas, no code aspects of tech. If you're looking to break into tech with something absolutely simple, this is the simplest program we offer here at 10 Analytics. So if you're not exactly computer savvy, I'm not really good with my computer. I don't want anything technical. I don't want anything that will stress me too much. This is the program for you. Now, our job as project managers, agile project managers, is to guide our team, guide our project team to make sure that, these people that work in our team are able to deliver our projects within the three most important parameters of project management. So, what are these three important parameters? You have the scope, you have the deadline, right? Or the timeline, pardon, and then you have the budget, right? These three parameters are very important. Every single project has a budget, right? Every single project has a timeline. You can say, oh, this project is going to span for 8 months. It's going to span for 24 months. It's going to span for 1 year. There's always a start date and an end date, right? That is the timeline of the project. Every single project has a budget. The project could be awarded £100,000, right? $100,000, $500,000, right? And it is your job as the project manager to make sure that your team that is working on that project, we don't spend beyond $500,000. We don't spend beyond £100,000. We're able to keep our spending on that project within the agreed budget, right? And then finally, the scope. Now, the scope refers to what we call the boundaries of work of the project, right? In simple terms, I'm going to use an online trend, what I ordered versus what I got. Now, you want to make sure that these two things match, right? What your client ordered, what your client asked for. If your client asked for a web application, a mobile application, a mobile app, a website, you want to make sure that at the end of the project, what your project team is delivering to them is exactly what they asked for. That is the scope of the project. Now, that is your job as a project manager. Now, of course, you're also following up with the team to ensure that they follow, the agile principles, the agile core values. They're able to work together. You're resolving conflicts. You're sort of like the mediator. Again, you're the coach. You're the facilitator in that team. And then when any problems come up that is, disturbing the project, you're able to also jump in right away and help them resolve that issue. Now, this is a completely beginner-friendly program. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the simplest one we have. And we start off with the basics, introduction to project management methodologies. What are the different methodologies that we have in project management, right? Your agile, your waterfall, your wagile. Some people call it wagile, some people call it hybrid. Now, we don't just introduce you to these methodologies. We don't just explain these methodologies to you. We're also going to teach you how you can identify the best methodology to use for what project. Now, the truth is, project management in its entirety is not a one size fits all. Okay. So what that means is you can't use one technique. And when we talk about methodologies, think techniques, that's what I mean. Project techniques. You can't use one technique to, you can't apply one technique to all the projects, right? Different projects call for different approaches or different techniques. Now, we're also going to teach you how you can take a look at a project. You can take a look at a project brief, and then you can say, you know what? I think the agile methodology would be the best approach for this project. Or I think we should go with waterfall for this project based off of, the unique needs of that particular project. Now, we also go into project management structure. Now, when I talk about the structure, I'm talking about the life cycle, the project's life cycle, right? The different phases that your project has to pass through from the initiation or from inception till the end of the project for you to have a successful project. Now we have the project initiation phase, we have the project planning phase, we have the project execution phase, we have the project monitoring and control phase, and we also have the project, closure phase. Now, what are the different activities that needs to be carried out in these different phases? What are the different documents that you need to prepare? Your project charter, your business case. How do you carry out a feasibility study? In the initiation phase. How do you justify your project? How do you provide justification for your project? Going into your project planning phase, how do you plan the budget? Yes, you've gotten $500,000, but how do you break it down? How do you sit down and plan a budget for that project? How much we're going to spend on recruitment, how much we're going to spend on tools, overhead costs, capital costs, and so on and so forth, right? And then going into your project execution phase where you begin to assign tasks to your team members, going into your project monitoring phase where you start to monitor their work, right? To ensure quality, to ensure that whatever it is they're going to deliver to the client is of industry standards, going into the project closure phase. How do you hand over to your clients? So now in all these different phases, all these important documentations that you need to prepare, all the important activities that needs to be carried out would be explained to you in detail, and you actually get to practice it in real time as well. We move into project management skills and communication. A lot of us on here, we're newbies, right? How do you even know the skills that a project manager should have? How do you know how a project manager should communicate? How do you know the type of communication channels that a project manager should establish with your different stakeholders, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, C-suite executives, end users? How do you know how to engage or communicate with these different people, right? We go into the foundations of Agile and Scrum. Now, what exactly is this Agile methodology? A lot of people think Agile is just a buzzword. Now, we help you to understand Agile and then all the different frameworks you have under the Agile methodology. Because the Agile methodology is like an umbrella or like a tree, right? That has different branches or different fruits. Now, we also have different frameworks under the Agile methodology. What are these different frameworks? And then we do a deep dive into the two most popular frameworks. That's the Scrum framework and then the Kanban framework. So you learn the Scrum framework end to end, right? Every single thing you need to know about Scrum in order to qualify as a Scrum Master. So if after this program you're looking to get into, Scrum Mastery, you want to become a Scrum Master, this is the program for you, right? So you are able to understand every single thing, like your Scrum artifact, your Scrum ceremonies. How do you, facilitate as a Scrum Master, your advanced Scrum and Agile practices, writing Agile user stories. And then we go into end-to-end use of Jira, Confluence, and Trello in projects. Now, Jira and Trello are task management tools, especially in a remote setting. This is how you're able to, this is how you're able to assign tasks to your different, team members and then follow up on the progress of those tasks. So you're able to see if you are in Canada right now, or you're in the US and you have a team member in Ghana, or you have a team member in the UK and you've assigned a task to them. Now, every single time you want to get a progress report from them, you don't have to pick up the phone and call, especially because of the different time zones. You can use a tool like Jira, right? You go on your Jira board and you're able to see, oh, okay, so I assigned this task to Moses yesterday. This task is currently in progress. That means Moses has started working on this task. Oh, this task is currently under review. That means Moses is done and he has moved this task from his table to the next person's table, to Oyindamola's table, and Oyindamola is reviewing this task. So if the task passes the requirement or the benchmark, Oyindamola moves it to close. So you're able to see how these tasks are moving. You're able to get progress updates. You're able to understand where you're at with the project just by using these tools. All right. And then we go into Kanban boards for workflow management. Now, I mentioned Scrum earlier. So after learning the Scrum framework end to end, you also get into the Kanban framework and you learn that end to end as well. So regardless of the framework that is used in whatever organization you get into, you're able to settle in you understand. Whether they're using Scrum, whether they're using Kanban, whether they're combining it, you're able to understand that. And then we get into agile metrics and reporting. Now, this is how you're able to track the health of your project. How do you know if your project is on track? How do you know if your project is ahead of schedule? How do you know if your project is behind schedule? How do you know if you're spending too much on your project? How do you know when to stop spending too much? How do you prepare your reports for your different stakeholders? All right, you're going to be learning how to track all these different things, all these different metrics, like your velocity, your burn up, your burn down chart, your lead time, your cycle time, your cumulative flow diagram, all these different metrics. You're going to learn how to not just generate them, right? Because you generate them using Jira, but you're able to read them. When you see the report, you read the report, you understand it, you know what it means, and then you're able to plan your action steps based off of that report. So this report is saying we are behind schedule. This is what we are going to do to get back on track. All right. And then real world application. Now, every single thing I've been saying from the onset, from the project management methodologies to the structure, you're actually going to be learning all of them using projects. Okay. So it's not theory. You're not coming here to read a textbook. You're not coming here to learn what is a project manager, who is a project manager. You are actually doing, right? You are learning by doing. Here at Analytics, we prioritize project-based learning, and this is the same across all our programs, whether it is the project management program, business analysis, or data analytics. You will learn by doing. You get assigned to projects, you work on this project, you learn how to use these different tools. You're able to practice, and do all this fun stuff that you need to do, during the course of the training. Now, if you're also interested in getting a professional certification in project management, your Prince 2, your PMP, your CAPM, your PSM 1 and 2, your CSM, whatever professional certification you're looking to take or professional examination you're looking to take, this program also helps to prepare you for that examination. All right. The knowledge you get from this program, the things that are in the curriculum, those are the questions that you will see in that examination. So it helps to prepare you, provide you with the knowledge that you need to be able to face those examinations and pass them, because they're expensive. So you want to make sure that you don't write them more than once, right? Now, we have a blended, learning approach here at Analytics. We have a blend of live classes, okay? And then you have drop-in sessions, and then you also have self-paced learning. Now, what are live classes? You have sessions, live classes that happen 2 times a month, all right? 2 Saturdays out of 4 Saturdays in a month, you have a live class just like this. You're able to join a session. You can see your facilitator. Your facilitator is sharing their screen. Now the difference is you're able to raise up your hand and unmute your mic if you have a question. All right. So your facilitator is sharing their screen. They're walking you through how do you use Jira, how do you use Trello, walking you through different projects. You're able to say, hi, Elizabeth, please, I don't understand XYZ. All right. You're able to interact. It's a live session. The interaction, it goes both ways. It's not one way. All right. And then we have 2 different timings for our live classes. You have the morning class, which is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. And you have the evening class, which is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Now, the live classes usually span 3 hours, all right? So you are able to select which of these classes you would like to join, whether it's the morning class or the evening class. And, you say, oh, you know what, I'm free in the morning, so let me do the morning class. Or I'm busy in the morning, but I'm free in the evening, so let me go for the evening class. You're able to select, all right? And if for any reason you miss a live class, maybe you joined, but you were sleepy, you went for night shifts, you were not really paying attention, not to worry. All live sessions are always recorded here at Analytics. And once you are a participant, we no longer need to ask you to fill a form in order to get access to the recording. You're able to get access just like that because we already have your details, all right? So you always have access to the recorded sessions, and you can always have a replay if you missed the session or you just want to watch what happened in class again, all right? Now we have self-paced learning. You get videos that you get to watch every single month. Now, the truth is, a lot of us on here, we're adults, all right? You have a family you're taking care of. Okay, you have your family, you have your work, your 9 to 5 that puts food on the table. You have your job that you're currently doing. Okay, and you don't have, this is no longer high school. or elementary school where you have to just wake up, put on your school uniform, eat breakfast and go to class. We understand that. All right. So because we're trying to find that balance, we want to make sure you're able to, carry on with your life, your job, your family. If you're studying for your master's, if you're in school, you're able to do that while still taking this program. We don't want to overwhelm you with too many classes. So we have self-paced videos that you get to watch during the week. All right. Now, you have these videos every single week. You can watch it at your own pace, at your own time, when you're free, maybe in the evenings, after work, or you're on your way to work, or you're doing the dishes. You can just put on the videos, you're playing the videos, you're watching them, you're trying to replicate what you can see your facilitator doing, because these are pre-recorded videos of your facilitator. So imagine getting a video of Elizabeth speaking to you, walking you through, different concepts and different tools, right? You're able to watch these videos as many times as you want. Now, if you have questions from these videos, we don't just leave you to your devices. If you remember, I said you have 2 live classes in a month, right? 2 Saturdays. Now, the remaining 2 Saturdays when you don't have a live class, you still have a live session. It's just not a live class. We call it drop-in sessions, but it's a mini class. So it's not as long as the 3 hour live class, but it's also a class that you can come to ask more questions to get more clarity. Now we have 2 drop-in sessions every week. One happens on Wednesday, 9 p.m. West African time. And the second one happens on Saturdays when you don't have a live class, you have a drop-in session on Saturdays. All right. So this is just to make sure we're not leaving you on your own at any point in time. There is always a session that you can join to ask questions, to get guidance, to present, share your screen and say, "Hi, Elizabeth, I'm trying to do something on Jira. I don't understand it. Can you please, shed more light? Can you please explain? Oh, hi, Moses. I missed the live class when I was catching up on the video, and you said XYZ. I didn't really understand. Please, can you explain it?" So you have these sessions at every single point in time, because we are here to just hold your hand every step of the way. All right. And the learning timeline for this program is 8 months. So you have 6 months learning in class and then 2 months of internship. However, this doesn't mean you have to wait 8 months before you can land your first role in project management or in business analysis or in data analytics. All right. Now, what are the different careers you can start upon completing this program? You can get into Scrum. You can become a Scrum Master, a Scrum Team Facilitator, an Agile Coach, a Lean Agile Coach, an Agile Project Manager, IT Project Manager, Technical Scrum Master. There's so many things. You can get into project coordination as well. There's so many different careers you can start or get into upon completing this program. Now, I just want to make sure I still have people listening to me. I want to make sure that people are still here right now. So if you are listening to me and based off of what I've explained, you are interested in project management, I want you to put PM in the chat. Anybody? Put PM in the chat. Let me know if, I actually have people that are listening to me and understand what I am saying. Anybody? Okay, I see Christina. I see Pelumi. All right. Okay, come over to the good side. I see Bola. Okay, I see Olabanji. Fantastic. Okay, so at least we have at least 4 aspiring project managers on the call. That's enough for me. All right, then. Now let's move on to the next one. Now, before we move on to the next one, you must also build a portfolio. Moses said something very interesting just before he handed over the session to me. He said building a portfolio is very important. And the only way you can build a portfolio is not by learning on YouTube. It's not by, just trying to learn on your own free courses. The only way you can build a portfolio is to, register for a program that is project based, right? Which is what we do here at Ten Analytics. I talked about how you have multiple projects that you get to work on, a minimum of 8 projects at least. Now, let me show you. I also have the portfolio of one of our participants here at Analytics, right? Linked on the slide. Once you get the slide, I want you to access this portfolio and take a look at it yourself. But let me show you what this portfolio looks like. Now, her name is also Elizabeth, okay? And this is her portfolio. Now, you see different projects housed in this portfolio. This is what she's able to show recruiters and say, look, I have the experience. I know what I'm talking about. I'm a project manager. These are the projects that I've handled. These are the type of projects that I've worked on, right? And all of these projects that you can see in our portfolio right now, she worked on this project while she was with us. Okay, so she worked on this project in class. Now, that's what I meant when I said project-based learning. You are not coming here to just understand the concept. You learn by actually doing, and you're able to also build a portfolio just like this that would help you land your dream job in project management. Now, let's get back into it. I'm not going to, dwell too much on the portfolio so that once you get the slides, you're able to take a look at them for yourself. Let's get into data analytics. Now, if you're someone who is an introvert, okay, you're literally the opposite of a project manager. You don't like to always be in meetings. You don't like speaking to people. You're shy, or you're in a country right now where there's a language barrier. You don't really want to be in the forefront. You don't enjoy joining plenty meetings, multiple meetings here and there, following up with this person. You'd rather just do your work in the background. You just want to. I mean, you join meetings. You're still part of a team. Okay, you join meetings here or there, but sometimes you join a meeting, you don't even have to speak, right? Just join a meeting, one or two meetings here and there, but you're majorly in the background, you're doing your job. And when it's time, you prepare a report and you send it across. If that describes you to the T, then data analytics is for you if you're an introvert. All right, now, what is the job of a data analyst? A data analyst is responsible for analyzing and interpreting data in order to help organizations generate insights and support their decision making in any organization. All right. So, any organization, you are helping them, support their decision making by giving them data driven insights. Okay. So every single organization has data on the face of this earth. Every single organization has data. Even here at Analytics, we have data. So in house, we have our own team of data analysts. We have our own team of data business intelligence analysts that are taking a look at our data for us. They're analyzing our data, they're interpreting it, and they're telling us, okay, this is what you should do. This is what the data is saying. Now, like I said, if you enjoy working in the background instead of the forefront, then data analytics is for you. This is also a simple, in fact, the three programs we're talking about today, Agile Project Management, Business Analysis, and Data Analytics, they are all simple. They are the simplest ones. If you're trying to get into tech as a beginner, you don't want something that's going to stress you, go for either one of these programs. All right. Now, if you're an introvert, go for data analytics. And here you're going to learn how to use all of these tools from the basics. Okay. You learn how to use Excel from scratch, from the foundation. So you don't even have to come in with any prior knowledge. You could be a farmer, you could be a pharmacist, you could be a nurse. If you're interested in getting into healthcare informatics, this is the program for you, data analytics. If you're in the healthcare sector, you're trying to pivot into tech, but you still want to remain within the healthcare space, data analytics would be great for you. All right. Business analysis as well as project management, fantastic choices too. Okay. But if you're looking at healthcare informatics or you're trying to get into healthcare data analytics, then the data analytics program is for you. And you're going to learn how to use all of these tools from scratch. So I always tell people when you hear tech analytics, I want you to think of a tech kindergarten class. So you don't have to have any prior experience whatsoever with these tools. We're going to hold your hand. All right. So you learn how to, problem solve. How do you solve problems, different types of problems as it relates to your data? All right. You're in an organization, you're currently working at an organization right now. You have some problems with data. You have noticed messy data, right? What are the different techniques that you can use to solve this problem? So it's, just like agile project management where we have methodologies. Here you have different problem solving techniques, like your Pareto principle, your DMAIC, your 5 whys technique. Like there's so many different techniques that will teach you that you can use to approach problems and solve them. So you are a solution oriented person. All right. You see a problem, boom, boom, boom. You're looking at how you can solve that problem for the organization. You also learn how to use Excel, right? From the basics, we'll take you from beginner to professional in Excel. You learn how to use SQL, which is what we call the language of data, structured query language. This is what sets you apart from a project manager. Okay. This is your superpower. This is what makes you not a random person, right? You are able to speak the language of data. Data speaks to you. You're able to respond to it. You're able to understand what the database is saying. The database has its own language, all right? That someone who is not a data specialist or a data professional, that person would not understand. All right. Now you learn that language. You also learn Power BI and Tableau for data visualization. When it comes to visualizing your data, when you want to prepare a report as a data specialist, you don't open a document and start typing stories. All right. You don't do that. You want to build dashboards, interactive dashboards, with bar charts, donut charts, showing the insights that you have gotten from the data in a way that anybody that you send that report to would understand. All right. Which brings us to data storytelling. So we are also going to teach you how you can craft your data in such a way that it tells a story. So that when you send this report, when you prepare your reports, you don't always have to prepare a report and come on a call and present your report. Sometimes you can prepare a report and share it to the CEO's email, right? Or a team lead's email. You can send your report that way. Now, you want to make sure that when you share a report this way, even if you're not there to explain that report, and you send it to someone who is not a data specialist, that person takes a look at that report. That person looks at that report for 5 minutes, and that person understands what the report is about and understands what you're trying to say. And that person is able to get insights from that report. That is your job as a data analyst. So we're going to teach you how to craft your data in such a way that it tells a story, an interesting story, but also an accurate story. And then the world is constantly evolving. AI is everywhere. All right. So we want to make sure you are not made redundant in any way. Okay. Want to make sure that as the world is evolving, you are also evolving. Now, you are going to also learn how you can leverage AI as a data analyst. Now, you're not competing with AI. All right. How do you learn how to use AI in your role as a data analyst so that it takes work off your shoulders, right? Instead of you having to do hard work, 24 hours a day, some tasks that would take you 6 hours, you can use AI to, do that task or perform that task in 30 minutes. We're going to teach you how you can leverage ChatGPT for analytics and finally Microsoft Fabric for analytics. Now, the learning structure is the same. You have your live classes 2 times a month, you have your drop-in sessions, and you have your self-paced learning. Now, it is quite unique. The drop-in sessions are quite unique for data analytics, or is quite unique for data analytics, right? So instead of the Agile Project Management Program where you have 2 drop-in sessions a week, for data analytics, there's an open window Mondays to Fridays. Every Monday to Friday, morning till night, there's an open window. So you can say, you know what, I'm free 1 p.m. or I'm free 12 p.m. on Wednesday. I would like to book a session on my facilitator's calendar to ask my facilitator questions. All right. I need guidance. I'm trying to do this. I don't really understand it. So I have some questions. So we're putting the power in your hands. You're able to book a session when you are free, especially for people who work on Saturdays. Oh, I'm going to miss the live class. How do I do it? Not to worry. You have your drop-in sessions. So you book a session on your facilitator's calendar, you get in there and you get the guidance that you need. All right. The learning timeline is the same. 8 months. You have 6 months learning in class and then 2 months of internship. So if data analytics is something that is calling your name right now, I want you to put DA in the chat. If you're an introvert, you don't want to really be at the forefront, put DA in the chat. Let's see. Let me know. I just want to. All right. I see Peter. I see Harry, DA. So 2 data analysts, aspiring data analysts, Pina Colada, DA, Christina, DA. Okay, fantastic. It looks like the PMs and the data analysts, they're dragging right now. All right, let's move on to the next one, business analysis. Okay. Now, of course, at this point, we already know that there are overlapping roles between business analysis, data analytics. No, not data analytics now, project management. But there are also some overlaps with data analytics. Now, the business analysis program is the powerhouse. Okay. But if you're looking to get into business analysis, you also have to be an extrovert. You have to be very, very comfortable. Be like Elizabeth, okay? Be very comfortable in meetings. Be very comfortable speaking. Sometimes you have to be in a meeting, you have to speak, you have to present your screen or, share your screen. You have to do presentations. You have to speak with different stakeholders, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. You have to interview people. If you're a people person, okay? Then business analysis. So if you're an extrovert, pardon, and a people person, we have project management, we have business analysis, but something sets them apart. What exactly is it? I'm going to explain that to you. Now, as a business analyst, you are a bridge, you are a middleman, you're like a translator between the business stakeholders, right? That's the C-suite executives, your project sponsor, your end users. Those are the business stakeholders. Those are the people that bring in the business, the money, and all of that. You are the bridge between the business stakeholders and the technical stakeholders. These are the developers, these are the designers. These people work on the back end, they're the people building the tech. Now, you don't have to write a single line of code, but you're able to get requirements from the users or from the business stakeholders, and you're able to translate those requirements into a language that the technical stakeholders would understand. All right. So you're sort of like a translator. You are the person in between these two groups of people. Okay. Now, as a business analyst, you're focused on optimizing processes. What that means is you are a problem solver. Organizations look at you as a problem solver, as a savior. All right. You walk into any organization and you're looking at how things are currently working in that organization. What are the processes? And you're looking at, I think we can make this process better. Or this process does not work. This process is broken. I think we can make it better. Okay. So there are different processes. Organizations have hundreds of processes. There could be simple processes, there could be complex processes. It could be the process of getting people into this session. So, for example, the way you got into this session in order to listen to myself and Moses speak, there was a process that you followed. That's an example of a process. And you would not even realize that you follow the process, right? But these are processes that have been put into place. Now, your job as a business analyst is to, come up with processes, optimize processes, make them work better for organizations. All right. Now, we're playing in the global markets. Okay. This is a global field. Recruiters do not just want business analysts who's going to say, oh, hi, my name is Bola. I'm a business analyst and I can optimize your processes for you. What are the other skills that you have? These other skills are also important. So recruiters also want you to be able to understand data. All right. Now, business analysis is a very interesting program. It's the most versatile program we have here at 10 Analytics because it is 3 in 1. So it's 3 for the price of 1. So, recruiters want you to be able to understand data because sometimes, in order for you to optimize a process, you might need to take a look at the business data of that organization and be able to draw insights from that data. Now, what do? We went into the data analytics program and we borrowed these power tools. You have Excel, you have Power BI, you have SQL. Now you're going to learn these 3 tools I just mentioned the way a data analyst would learn them. You are going to use them the way a data analyst would use them. So you're going to learn how to use Excel like a data analyst. How do you use Excel to clean and analyze data? How do you speak the language of data using SQL? How do you visualize your data, present, prepare reports, interactive dashboards with beautiful colors using Power BI? All right. Then we didn't stop there. We also went into the Agile Project Management Program and we borrowed 2 courses from them, Project Initiation Planning and Agile and Scrum for Projects. Very strategic move. Now, the reason we did this was because sometimes as a business analyst in an organization, you might propose a process. You might say, this process is not really working. I have a better idea. I think this is how we should carry out this particular process. This is what will help us make more money. This is what will help us generate more revenue, etc. And sometimes that new process that that new process that you are proffering to the organization could be a project. Now, in that case, sometimes these organizations, they are, a bit short-staffed, right? They don't have the necessary manpower. They don't have a project manager on ground at the time, right? And they say, oh, Bola, this was your idea. How about you execute this project for us? Now we're going to teach you how to think like a project manager. How do you initiate projects like a project manager? How do you plan for projects like a project manager? How do you execute projects like a project manager? How do you monitor projects like a project manager? All right. How do you apply the Scrum framework to project management? Any projects you're managing. Now, what this means for you after taking this business analysis program is that you're able to work as a business analyst, you're able to work as a project manager, and you're also able to work in some roles as a data analyst as well. All right. So you have your core business analysis courses as well, your software development life cycle, requirements fundamentals, elicitation techniques, your stakeholder analysis, as well as AI. How do you leverage ChatGPT in your role as a business analyst? Now, what this means, like I said, very versatile. It opens up more job opportunities for you. You're able to apply to project management jobs, business analysis roles, data analytics roles as well. All right. The learning structure is the same. Saturday live classes twice in a month, your drop-in sessions twice in a week, and your self-paced learning. The learning timeline is also the same. You have 6 months learning in class, and then you have 2 months of internship. All right. Now, if I have business analyst in the house, I Bola is putting DA again. If I have business analyst in the house, I want you to put BA in the chat. People like Bola, just go for business analysis. All right. Because you have a combination of project management and data analytics in there. So Olabanji, your name looks very familiar. I think you have put Okay, Bola, yes, clearly you are a BA, you are a business analyst. All right. I see Ade, BA, Christina. Christina, okay, Christina is saying DA. Christina is locked in. Shola is saying BA. Fantastic. So I mean, if you join this session, you didn't exactly know where, you know, you want to go. At least Christina is locked in. Christina knows that she's going for data analytics, and that is beautiful. All right. So I hope I've been able to explain it and just provide that clarity that you need in order to select the right career path. Now let's move on. Of course, there are also different careers you can get into upon completing this program. Business process analyst, business systems analyst, IT business analyst, process improvement analyst. The list is endless, all right? Different nomenclatures. You're able to get into these jobs after taking the business analysis program. Now, of course, there's also a portfolio here. Once you get the slide, you can access the portfolio. Now, I'm going to do something for some of my people that are still kind of confused. So there's a link to this very fun quiz that's going to take you 2 minutes. Okay. You just need 2 minutes to take this quiz, and this quiz will tell you the best career path for you. So if you're still confused, some people that have put PM, they're putting DA, they're putting B, you don't know where you fall. Okay. And that's okay. Just go ahead to click on this link that I'm putting in the chat right now and take the quiz. Now, that quiz will give you the clarity that you need in 2 minutes. You're able to see if you should go for business analysis, if you should go for data analytics, or if you should go for project management. All right, now let's get back into the presentation. Okay, give me minutes. See. Okay, fantastic. All right, I can see you're seeing my screen. So let's move on. Now, let's talk about some success stories. Let's see some people that have done it before you, right? How did these people do it and what were they able to achieve? Like you're asking yourself, some people are asking themselves right now, I'm a beginner, I'm coming from I'm coming from a healthcare background, I'm coming from, oh, I was a teacher, how Elizabeth is saying it right now. It's sounding very interesting. It's sounding very sweet. But how do I know for sure that I can do this? All right. I'm going to show you people that have one head that have done it. So you can also see how we've been able to help over 3,500 professionals, right? People with no background in tech transition and land their first job in tech. Let's take a look at Esther. The story of Esther is actually one that I hold very dear to my heart because this was somebody that I had a personal interaction with. Esther was one of my students in my cohort, right? And Esther had no tech background while she was in Nigeria. Esther also, when she moved to the UK, she started working as a carer, but Esther knew for sure that she wanted more for herself, right? She knew that she was going to do more than just care, right? She needed to get into tech. Now, what was the strategy that Esther followed? What she did was, the first thing she did was she identified the program that she was interested in, the Agile Project Management Program, and she joined the program. She registered for the program in April of 2025. That was just a few months back. The next thing she did was She packaged herself. I'm going to be talking to you more about this in coming slides. How do you package yourself? Packaging is very important. You could have the skills, but then you're applying to jobs and recruiters are not even looking your way. And then they're hiring someone that you are more qualified than. Why? Because the person had better packaging. Even as human beings, right? When you are in the supermarket or you're in, you're shopping, when you see something that has a very beautiful packaging, you stop. Even if that was not part of what you had on your grocery list, right? You stop and you take a look. You might buy it on the spot, or you might just read and look at it. And you're like, you know what? I'll come back for it. Packaging is also very important. So, how do you package yourself? I'll talk about that shortly. But Esther, joined all the mentorship sessions. She was attending classes. We helped her to revamp her CV. We tailored her CV to a project manager CV. I was prepping her for multiple interviews. She got interview preps. And then Esther was applying to jobs. Now, she was applying to jobs from the Send Analytics job board, right? The jobs that we provided to her to apply. We send links to all our participants on a weekly basis for you to apply to jobs. And, she applied to multiple jobs, both in the UK, in the US. Esther did not apply to one job. Okay. I prepped Esther for about 5 or 6 interviews. So it wasn't like she just applied to one job and she got in, but she didn't stop. Every time she say, "Oh, Elizabeth, I have another interview," I'm like, "Okay, let's go." We do the prep again. So she applied to a lot of different jobs. And what was the results? On the 1st of July 2025, less than 4 months after Esther resumed or Esther got into 10 Analytics, Esther started the program, she landed a job in the UK, working a hybrid schedule with the civil service, right? 3 days in the office and 2 days from her home in Manchester. Now, I also have Esther's interview linked on my slide. So if you'd like to hear from the horse's mouth, right, make sure to fill the attendance form, click on the link, and you'll be able to watch all these different, testimonials I have on my screen. Let's take a look at, Mautin. Mautin went from being an operations manager to a pathology data analyst in the UK with the NHS. Now, Mautin was an operations manager in Nigeria. He joined our data analytics program and he landed a job as a pathology data analyst in the UK with the NHS on visa sponsorship, fully sponsored role. Okay. What did Martin do? He also followed the same strategy, the same templates that Esther followed. He started learning. He got into the data analytics program. He tailored his CV, joined all the mentorship sessions. He got prepped by his facilitator. He got multiple job offers, by the way. Martin got multiple job offers because he was applying to multiple jobs. And he was then able to select and say, you know what? I don't want this one. I want this one. All right. That could be you as well. Now, in November, he joined in July. In November, he landed a job with the NHS in the UK as a pathology data analyst. Now, this job came with full visa sponsorship. Again, to show you that it has been done before. You can also do it. Now, let's take a look at Judith as well. Now, Judith was a carer in the UK, and she went from being a carer to being a business analyst. Judith joined the 1096 Business Analysis Program. She completed that program in March, right? Judith, started to package herself. She tailored her CV. She joined all the mentorship sessions. She also got prepped for multiple interviews. She was applying to a lot of jobs from the 10 Analytics job board. And, she also tailored all these different applications. And in July, Judith joined, or she completed her program in March. In July, she landed a job as a business analyst in the US, working remotely from the UK. Judith is in the UK and she works for an organization in the US, fully remote. All right. Again, you see, these are 3 different case studies, right? You have the project manager, you have the data analyst, and you have the business analyst as well. So we have so many. This is just just drilling down on Esther's testimony, so many of them. We could have a 5-hour session of me sharing different, testimonials with you. But I'm going to leave you. I have all these wonderful testimonials, over 100 testimonials linked on my slides. Once you get the slides, make sure to go through them. Now, how do you get a job? Here at 10 Analytics, we have something we call the job offer formula. It's simple mathematics, all right? It's just addition. It's your T plus your E. Now, what is T and what is E? Your T stands for your technical skills. Your technical skills are the skills I've spoken about. Oh, your SQL, your Power BI, your Jira, your Trello, your Lucid charts, your Draw.io. How do you leverage AI as a data analyst, as a project manager, as a business? Those are your technical skills. But I'm sorry, those skills are not enough to land you a job. Not in 2026, not in this highly competitive job market. All right. Your technical skills, it doesn't matter if you are top of your class, your technical skills only makes up 50% of what you need to get you a job. Now, what is the other 50%? We have your employability skills. Now, what is your employability skills? That's where packaging comes into play. That's where we teach you how to package yourself, and we also help you package yourself. Now, here at Analytics, we offer 8 different employability services, right? The first one is the CV review and revamp. 2 months into your training, we ask you to submit your current CV. It doesn't matter what your previous job was, whether you were a carer, whether you were a healthcare assistant, whether you were a teacher, just submit your CV. I will work on your CV for you. So we take that off your hands, right? You don't have to worry about it. We will work on your CV for you, and then we'll send it back to you, right? So from your 3rd month here, we start encouraging you to apply to jobs, okay? We start encouraging you to apply to jobs from the 3rd month, right? Because by the 2nd month, you get your CV back. Now, we also teach you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, right? How do you optimize your LinkedIn profile? How do you strategically position yourself in such a way that you are also able to land jobs, right? That you did not apply for, right? So in as much as you're applying for jobs out there, recruiters are also headhunting you. Now we have a lot of people that have landed jobs like this. Imagine just going about your daily activities and you get a beep on your phone. Someone sent you a message on LinkedIn, someone you don't know, and you open it up, and the person says, "Oh, I took a look at your profile. I'm really impressed. We currently have an opening in my company. If you don't mind, if you are free, would like to have a conversation with you. Can you please send us your email so we can schedule?" And that's how you just get an interview for a job that you did not apply to. And you land a job. Because, of course, we'll prep you for that interview. How do you do that? LinkedIn optimization. Now, the next is navigating the job market. Here we have professionals, we have people who have walked the talk, people who have gone before you, people like Judith, people like Mawutin, people like Esther, right? They have navigated the job market, they have landed jobs. Now we bring them back to the classroom to speak to you and tell you, look, this was what I did. I got a job 4 months into the training. I got a job 3 months into the training. This was what I did, right? And we also bring seasoned professionals, people with 8 years of experience, 10 years of experience, 15 years of experience to come and just give you those tips. Because again, a lot of us are just, migrating. We just moved to the US, you just moved to the UK. It's an entirely new terrain for you. Even if you've been in the UK for years, but now you're looking to pivot into tech, tech is an entirely new terrain for you. You need to understand what the job market looks like and how you can succeed in that job market. And that is, something that we also offer you. Next, we have the interview preparatory sessions. Of course, every single time you land an interview, you need someone to prep you for that interview. It doesn't matter how many. If you land 100 interviews, somebody, a professional here at Analytics, will prep you 100 times for those interviews. All right. These are just to get your mind in the right, get you in the right headspace before you get into the interview, the main interview, boost your confidence, prepare you. So okay, Bola, you're going for business analysis. This is, this company that's called you back for an interview. These are the kind of questions they would likely ask you. Now, Bola, when they ask you this question, this is how you should respond. This is what you should say. This is how you should say it. So by the time you're going into that interview, you know what to expect and you are ready to answer these questions. Now, this is how you're able to land jobs. This is how you're able to set yourself apart from the 20 other people that they hired. All right. Now, moving on to job reference and recommendation letters. We also are available to provide you with reference and recommendation letters, when you land a job, when your job asks you to provide a previous employer that can give you a reference or recommendation letter, you can put down our name and we're more than happy to give that to you. Then we also offer on the job support. So 1 month into, you land the job, 1 month in, your first month, you're still a bit wobbly. You're still a newborn baby in the tech space, right? You don't know how to perform certain tasks. You get some tasks and you're a bit confused on how you can go about those tasks. Now you can always come back here to analytics. It doesn't matter whether your training has ended, whether it has not ended. You can always come back and book a one-on-one session with a professional here at analytics, and we'll guide you. We're not going to perform the task for you, all right? But we'll guide you, provide the guidance on how you can go about executing that task that is stressing you. So we're taking the stress off your shoulders, literally. Next, we have weekly mentorship sessions, like the name implies, mentorship session every single week, where you get to speak to mentors, you get people to mentor you, learn from people. And finally, last but not the least, you have your Upwork optimization session. So for people who are looking to freelance, Pina Colada, I think, dropped a question in the chat earlier. How do you navigate balancing? If you're looking to freelance, you want to work as a data analyst. You don't want to um work full time as a data analyst. You're still doing what you're doing on the side. You want to just make £200, $200, $150 here, work contract, so just extra change. We'll also teach you how to leverage Upwork and how to optimize your Upwork profile, just like we teach you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So you're also able to land these jobs. Now, that is 45%. The remaining 5% is the 10 Analytics job board I've been talking about so much. So you get access to weekly job posts, premium job posts. We pay to get them. So we're not giving you jobs from LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor. Those are free. We pay for, we subscribe to premium sites, we get these jobs, and then we send them to you on a weekly basis. And you're able to apply to these jobs. You're able to see the job location. If this job offers visa sponsorship, sites like UK visa jobs, right? We're able to get you jobs from there, links to the jobs. If the job is remote, if it's hybrid, if it's on-site, you're able to see all of these things. All you have to do is click on the link and apply. And then you also have access to your personalized learning AI assistant. Now, this is only available to the 1% of the 1%. The 1% of the 1% in this case being the 10 Analytics participant. This is not ChatGPT that everybody uses. This is not Gemini. This is not Claude. This is your own learning AI assistant. You only get access to this when you register for our program. Now, this is an assistant like AI that is able to prep you for interviews. Okay, that's your once you're learning in class and you hit a blocker. There's this term you don't understand. You can quickly ask it, and it will answer you, provide the response that you need, provide guidance, prep you for interviews, whatever it is that you need. It is literally your AI assistant, your own AI assistant. You only get access to this as a 10 Analytics participant. All right. That is what makes up the 100%. That's how you land the job. Success stories, we have so many success stories. Again, I don't want to waste too much time. People who have transitioned from being medical practitioners into tech, people who have transitioned from the commercials or the arts background into tech, data analytics, project management, business analysis. Look at Pavel. Pavel was a teacher. I talked about your background and I told you it didn't matter. Pavel was a teacher back in Cameroon. He took the data analytics program and he landed the healthcare data analyst job in the US. Hope had project management. She had a certification, but she didn't have the experience. She was not able to land a job in Canada. She joined our Agile project management program and she secured a job as a project analyst. We have, Fikayo that secured a job as a business intelligence analyst, in Canada. So we have so many different people, so many different experiences. We also have people in Nigeria working from Nigeria that secured jobs with organizations in the UK or in the US. It is possible. People have done it, and you can be one of them too. All right. So more and more success stories. I'm just going to gloss over all of this so I don't keep you here for too long. Now let's get to the main matter. If everything I've been saying, all day, Pina Colada says pathology data analyst. Interesting. Yes, Very, very interested. So if everything I've been saying, you're interested, you can join our next cohort starting on the 10th of January, and you are in luck. All right. So we currently have, and this is not for everybody. So I want you to, at this point, lean in closer. So I'm going to reduce the sound, the volume of my voice, because we currently have a 50% scholarship ongoing. We had this running last month, but because when it ended, a lot of people came in and a lot of people said, "Oh, I just heard about this. Oh, please, I wasn't able to make it last month, so we decided to extend it." However, it's for a limited number of people. All right, now the original pricing for all three programs, data analytics, business analysis, project management, is 1,200 US dollars or 920 pounds, depending on where you're joining from, whether you're in the US or in the UK. However, with the 50% discount, instead of paying $1,200, you're able to pay $600 and you're able to split your payment for as many as 4 times. So you're able to spread it into as many as 4 installments. All right. So how do you go about making this payment? Now, this discount for this particular session is only available for the first 20 people. First 20 people to get in, they're unlocked. And then, any other person that tries to get in, you're paying $1,200. So if you are looking to save $600, if like me, you like to go to Sephora, you like to go to Ulta, you like to shop, especially because it's the festive season, you need to buy gifts. All right. This is the time to register. Okay. First 20 people listening to me right now, my colleagues are going to be dropping the link to register in the chat. You want to go ahead and register. And remember, you can make installmental payments. Now, let me show you what registration looks like. So once you click on the link that my colleague must have started sharing in the chat, it takes you directly to the Tenalytics Enrollment Center, where you have the list of all the programs that we offer here at Tenalytics. Data analytics, business analysis, financial analytics, project management. The first thing you want to do is identify your program of interest. Are you interested in data analytics like Pina Colada? Are you interested in business analysis like Bola? Are you interested in project management or data analytics like Christina? Just select your program. Okay. If you're interested in project management, you have to scroll down. Here's the project management program. Once you identify your program, you want to click on Buy Now. So you click on Buy Now for project management and it opens up the program description. Every single thing you need to know about this program. You have the minimum number of projects that you get to work on, which is at least 8 projects. You get the course description, the curriculum, every single thing that you're going to be learning, right? You're able to see the curriculum on the LMS, on the website. You're able to see your instructors, who are the people that are going to be taking you through this training, right? You see the job opportunities available to you. Now, what you want to do is you want to click on Enroll Now, this Enroll Now button right here, and you'll be prompted to create a free account. All right. So it's going to take you less than 1 minute. We just need your full name, your email address, and your phone number. And that is all you need to create a free account with us. All right. Now, once you create that account, you're able to confirm your enrollment. Now, this is where you get to select when you'd like to start. Yes, the next class starts on the 10th of January. However, after the January class, the next one starts on the 7th of February. Now, maybe January is busy for you, but you don't want to miss out on this discount. You're able to register in advance for the February class. All you have to do is select February. Okay. When do you want to start? Do you want to start in January or do you want to start in February? One thing is certain, just select when you'd like to start and then make sure you utilize the discounts before the first 20 people make payment. All right. Now, I mentioned the payment plan. You have your payment plan here. You have 4 options. You can make a one-time payment. Okay. You can pay in 2 installments. You can pay in 3 installments or in 4 installments. Now, for people who are looking to pay once or twice, you get an additional $60 off. All right, so instead of $600, you get to pay $540 instead if you're paying once or twice. But if you're splitting your payments into 3 installments or 4 installments, you'll be paying $600. So what it means right now is right now, if you want to get into the January class, you need a minimum of $150, $150 US dollars right now, and you are in the next class. All right, whether it's for project management, data analytics, or business analysis. So once you select your preferred payment plan, you just want to click on apply discounts, give the system some time to work its magic, and then you're able to see the breakdown. Your 50% discount is applied. So now you're able to see the breakdown and your due date. So, oh, you make your first payment today, 11th of December. The next installment will be due on the 11th of January. It's a 30-month interval. So every month, right? You're able to see, okay, so I get to save $600, I'm paying $150. And now, if you'd like to edit your next payment date. So instead of paying on the 11th of January, you say, oh, 11th of January, I might not really have money. How about I don't get paid till maybe the 16th of January or the 17th of January. You're able to edit it here. So you see this where it says edit dates here. You click on edit dates and you select your preferred date. So maybe you select 17th of January instead. Now, what it does is it automatically updates your payment plan. All right. So instead of your next payment being due on the 11th of January, now it's due on the 17th of January, on the 17th of February, and so on and so forth. All right. Once you're done with that, you just want to confirm that your information on this screen is correct, confirm that you have read the 10 Analytics terms and conditions, and click on Pay Now and use your card. So it doesn't matter where you're joining us from, whether you're joining us from the UK, Nigeria, the US, wherever it is that you're joining from, you're able to pay in your local currency. All right, so let's go back. Let's take it back a little bit. So here where you see the payment options, depending on where you click on this link from, excuse me, depending on where you click on this link from, you see it in your local currency. So if you are in the US, you see it in USD. If you're in the UK, you see it in pounds. If you're in Nigeria, you see it in naira. Okay, so you're able to switch. There's a currency selector here. So even if you're in Nigeria, but you'd like to pay in dollars, right? You're able to select your currency, your preferred currency right here. So let's switch this to pounds right now. And then you're able to pay with your card. All right. Very, very easy. If you're in Canada, you sit in Canadian dollars and you're able to pay in your card. So let me take a look at the chat to see if I have any questions before we wrap up this session. All right. So Harry says, please, can someone contact you personally? My husband is interested. Yes, you can. You can book a session, or you can have your husband book a clarity session with myself or any other person on my team to speak to, a professional if he's interested, and we are going to show him how, or, the best career path to get into. All right. So do I have any more questions in the chat before I wrap up this session? Anybody? Any question you'd like to ask me? Okay, so it looks like there are no questions. We still have a lot of, slides that we have not covered. So just make sure you fill the attendance form so that you can have access to my slides as well as the recording of this session. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in, for listening to me, and for giving me 2 hours of your time. All right. Thank you so much. And, I will just call it a day here, let you get back to your day. Ruth says, what about cybersecurity? So, Ruth, if you're looking at cybersecurity, if you're interested in cybersecurity, it is one of the programs that we offer. So, once you click on that link right there, go ahead to register for the cybersecurity program. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Pay as little as $150 US dollars right now to get started. Olabanji says, see you in January cohort or February cohort. Thanks. That is the energy that I love to see. Olabanji, make sure you secure your spots. All right, secure your spots today if possible, so you're able to get in. BB says, is there any data elements for project management training? BB, the answer is no. So if you're interested in data and project management, guess the program for you, business analysis. So you can go for the business analysis program, BB. Christina says, see you in January. I'm looking forward to that, Christina. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Any questions from anyone? 5 more minutes to take questions. So if you have questions, put them in the chat really fast so I can take your questions. before we end the session? Anybody? All right then. Thank you so much, everyone. Please enjoy the rest of your day and do not forget to secure your spots with the minimum of $150. You're able to get in to register for the January class or the February class. All right. I will see you when I see you. People like Christina, I will see you in January. Asa, I will see you in February. Olabanji, hoping to see you in the January cohorts. All right. Thank you, everybody, and bye for now.